What's going on, YouTube? Cosmos here, bringing you another YouTube video. Today, we are going to be going over a tier list that I made recently for Joust. If you're unaware of who I am a highly ranked Joust player. I could pull up my SMITE leaderboard real quick here. You want to check that out. Currently am number 15 on the leaderboard with 3,200 MMR. I have another account in here, I believe should be... I dropped, actually. Heck! Am I gone? Unsuccess? It's doomed. I'm number 1 in Masters. Okay, 3053. Basically a GM, you know? I got 2 accounts in GM, basically. Okay? I should have recorded this yesterday when I was still GM. But, that's where we're at. We got a decent lock on the meta, know pretty well what's good and what's not. So hopefully I can help you guys out with if you're struggling with your picks in ranked Joust / or looking to discover new things that you aren't aware are super strong that maybe you want to try out, or you know, just get a read on the whole situation. Can help you out here. So first off, how we're going to go through this and what the tiers mean. We're going to go through by class. I've got the gods organized by Guardians first here, then Hunters, and then we got Mages, then Warriors, and then Assassins. So we'll be going through by class, placing them in these different tiers. SS tier will be first pick and first ban material. So you're going to highly prioritize these gods. You like need to first pick or first ban these. And so as first pick, you might be looking to sneak one of these through. As second pick, you might be trying to sneak all of them through and try to get a double pick. Just depends how the bans go. / if you know who you're playing against, just, you know, you played against in the game before and you think it might be them again, you know, pick and ban accordingly. S tier is going to be the gods that are usually going to make up the teams that you're playing. They're going to be super, super strong gods that are probably not going to get banned. Sometimes they'll get banned. There's decent chance, just depending on what you want to play. And they're just really strong gods that you're going to be probably picking the bulk of your characters from. S- is kind of just the same thing as S, but just a little weaker. Like, you probably will find something stronger from the S tier. Everything below that, I didn't make a lot of lower tiers because, honestly, it doesn't really matter. The gods that are going to be below these S ranking tiers, you kind of only really ever need to worry about these if you're really trying to move up the ladder. And they're just, you know, like A for okay, basically. A for A-okay. They're okay gods. You can pick them. They can do things, like specifically counter matchups. If you're looking for, you know, later in the draft, you want a character that's just going to, like, completely staunch your opponent's strategies. And then we've got B for bad, which you probably shouldn't pick those gods at all, but you can if you want to. If you're just really comfortable on them and you perform well on them, you know, nothing on the list matters if you're just the best player on the god and you always perform well, right? So let's get right into it. Petition to change Chang'e S- to A+. Well, we'll see about that. First off, we're going to start with the SS tier, which of course, once again, is the first pick, first ban. You need to have these gods either picked or banned in your games. From the Guardian tab, we have 2 of these characters. We got Charon and we got Kuzenbo. From the Hunter tab, we got nobody. From the Mage tab, we got nobody. From the Warrior tab, we got nobody. And from the Assassin tab, we have arguably the strongest character in Ranked Joust. Get ahead of him! Naja. These characters are incredibly strong because they have great poke, great pressure, great fight potential, a whole bunch of crowd control, and they just make the game really easy to play for your carries. More than any of the other gods in here, and they do it very consistently. Naja's setup, just incredibly annoying, just removes somebody from the fight while setting up, like, you know, a Scylla ult on the bottom, or, you know, just anything, any big ability coming up with, like, a raw ult type of deal, soul ult, a Thoth ult, mainly mage ults. And just, you know, you can just, like, completely focus one guy and sash ult him off cooldown. Doesn't matter if he has a CC immune ability. If you can find him, you will get him. And you can build super tanky, make it really annoying. Charon with those shields and constant poke, the silences. He just has so much value in Joust. And then Kuzenbo is just pushing people around, throwing Kappa is just the tankiest character in the game. And when there are only 3 people on both teams, it's very hard to kill him and deal enough damage to focus him down. Unlike in like a 5-man game mode, for example, Conquest, where it's a lot easier to kill this guy. You got Enhanced Fire Giant, you got 5 members on both teams. Much easier to deal with. In Joust, he just kind of runs the meta. If you've played Joust for long, you probably know that Kuzenbo is incredibly strong. So that's going to make it up for our SS tier. Give it up. You got to pick or ban these guys in the first phase. S tier, Guardians, we got a whole bunch of them. We got this dude, Atlas. We got Kabrakan. We got Ganesh. We got... I put Terra in there, but honestly, maybe I will keep her out of there. Yeah, we'll leave her out for now. And then we got nothing for... Oh, no, we do have Hunters. We've got our good pals, Hachiman and X-Ball. Where are they? Where are they? Hachiman, X-Ball, and Marticarus. Bacchus not S? No, I don't believe Bacchus is S. I don't believe so. He's very good, though. I'll be putting him in a lower tier just below this one. Later. Mages, we got Raijin. Where he at? Raijin. I am putting these in order of strength as well, and how I believe. Like, I think Charon's just a little better than Kuzenbo. Like, I think Atlas is probably the best out of these 3. So, honestly, it's hard. It's hard to tell these little nuances in the tiers. Where the heck is Raijin, man? Raijin. Did I lose him? Yeah, where the heck is Raijin, boys? There he is. Raijin. And I got Thoth. Got Morgan Le Fay. Got Baba Yaga. Who is right there. Persephone. A lot of mages in here. Where's she at, though? To Olaran. She's right there. And that's it for mages. Warriors. We have 1 warrior.
I need the jungle buff.
Warriors have fallen off a bit. Oh.
O___O.
O___O, indeed. Welch, thank you very much for the subscription for 67 hecking months. You guys are wondering who I'm responding to right now and where that just came from. It's on Twitch, twitch.tv/Cosmosaur. Link in the description, where I'm recording this live. Achilles is the only warrior that made it up to this tier, and I'm going to do something maybe a little controversial here. I'm going to throw our good friend Thor up into the S tier, who I think is the strongest assassin in the game mode. And now, quick explanations. For Guardians, these guys are just a slight amount below Charon and Kuzenbo because they're just a little easier to kill, but their impact on fights is insane. Kabrakan kind of bones a lot of the top pick carries, such as Morgan Le Fay, such as Persephone. He has a lot of resistance to her ultimate. Thoth, he does really well into. Both of these top tier hunters here. Like, he just does really well into the top picks, and his recent buffs with the tremors being a really low cooldown make him a lot nicer to play, and his mana sustain is not an issue anymore. Ganesh, super strong in any game mode right now. Just a lot of control. In Joust, where a lot of it's around kind of your front line, what they're able to do, Ganesh can limit front line and punish back line very effectively. And Atlas with that prot reduction and really solid wave clear on a Guardian being really, really impactful. Massive prot shred and area coverage with his abilities, in addition to just like laying on the slows, making it really annoying for people to escape. It just has incredibly annoying CC overall. Puts him very high on the list, but not at the top because he is punishable. The reason he's not that amazing in Conquest is because it's very easy to kill this dude if you can get the right things on him. Like, hard for him to escape. His dash is pretty blockable, so if he's not on the offensive, his defensive capabilities make it a bit tough, especially in like double backline comps, where it's kind of backliners just trading poke. Atlas is very susceptible to getting picked on by, like, say, a Bacchus is going to be free casting on an Atlas the whole time with the knock immunity. It can make it really annoying for him. For hunters, these are just really high DPS hunters. They do a lot of damage. They're pretty safe. And they have really good abilities that are very effective in these Joust skirmishes. Hachiman is, I think, the top hunter in Joust. Just super safe dude. Has a lot of poke with his one. The recent buffs he got to his attack speed as well make him very slippery and high poke, which is very valuable, especially in like double backline fights. And he's even safe to these double tank comps and does good damage. X-Ball, he's just a lot of damage. And his ult, of course, is incredibly strong. In Joust, you'll see X-Ball popping up all the time. This Griffin Wing build, very popular on him. Gets a lot of MP5 between Griffin Wing dominance. So he's able to sustain really well and really trade out in these fights and deal a lot of damage to single targets. And Marty is going to be kind of the same with his recent nerfs. His damage output, especially early, is much lower, but his late game is still just as strong. Though, you know, knocked down a decent amount. But he is still very scary. Deals a ton of damage. That sustain that he has, the passive, the Marty build with the Transcendent Soul Eater, Fail Not, Crusher Heartseeker, super strong on him. Did take quite a big hit in the last patch, but damage output still crazy. You just need to get him through that early game, through that mid game, and get those first 3 items online. And he will be hitting super hard from super far range, super safely. Kind of ticking all the boxes that you want from a carry in Joust. For the mages, we got Raijin first. I think Raijin is kind of the top mage right now. He gets outranged by a number of these mages here, all of these mages here, in the same tier as him. But his damage output is immense. You want to enable a Raijin when he's on your team. Like, if you can hold targets in place for just a few seconds, Raijin will burst them hard. He does super well into multiple tanks, and he does great with multiple tanks on his team when he's able to free cast and not have people poking him from a mile away, dropping thought bolts and stuff. Because with his recent buffs, he just has his cooldowns up all the time. And he's got his Bountiful Bow to just reset that cooldown on top of his passive resetting his cooldown in 2 different ways. This makes him have access to damage so often. The only thing you need to worry about is him getting outranged, so that's why you need to make sure to draft things that are going to make it so that you don't end up just playing like backline poke battles. On the opposite side of that spectrum, we have Thoth, who is completely fine playing backline poke battles, super strong into double backline because he outranges them all. Though, of course, he has significant counters with things like Fenrir, things like Kabrakan. Bacchus Intoxicates are really annoying for him. So you do have to be slightly careful. His damage output is insane, though. So he can usually play around a lot of those counters, and you can draft accordingly to protect him, which allows him to stay up here with his immense range and safety and high damage. Now with his buffs, he does a good amount into the double tanks as well. He's just very good at surviving and does a lot of damage. Morgan Le Fay, kind of similar, just has a ton of CC, really easy for her to keep melee characters off of her, and her range is really strong with her 3. You level the 3 in Joust. Well, you should always level the 3, honestly. And she's just allowed to apply a lot of pressure and will outrange most of the other mages and other backliners, as well as being able to play well into the double tanks. When you do go against them, she has a lot of access to a lot of damage, a lot of abilities all the time, and good CC, which is a lot of something that these other mages don't have a lot of, because she's got the fear, she's got the knockup. Really good. Baba, kind of the same reason the other guys are here. Really good range, really good damage, all the time. That is a common trend. Persephone is the same thing, and she has the added characteristic of being able to trap a guardian or a tank that doesn't build beads / doesn't have CC immunity in that cage, and you're able to focus them down really easily. as well as, you know, she just got that same range that these other guys have, really annoying poke. So she as well does have her counters, and you got to draft accordingly if you want to beat her. So that's why none of these gods are up in that SS tier. They're just really, really strong, but just not the same level as these top three. Achilles is the only warrior that makes it up into this class. Warriors have kind of fallen to the wayside a bit with the tankier minions, the tankier buffs, item changes, 9.5. Like, it's just so hard to kill things. Achilles is the one guy that gets around that because he has a 35% execute threshold. So he can actually kill tanks. You don't want to pick double tank into Achilles if you can avoid it. And then the one assassin I put in here is Thor, because he does really well in the backliners, who are very popular right now. Like, hunters being this high in Joust. It's been a long time since they've been there. And Thor is one of the few characters that can actually punish them, get out a lot of poke, build very tanky, and really impact the game and influence that. So, like, when they go double backline, they go, like, top X-ball, Thor will be getting, like, free hammers out, and be able to apply a lot of pressure to that type of comp. Alright, moving on. S-. Guardians I got in here. We got the Bacchus. We got a question. Reasons Bacchus not S tier? I just think Bacchus is really good when he's allowed to play the way that he wants, meaning he's able to play aggressively and not have to peel for his backline very much. That's how I see it, at least. Like, Bacchus versus, like, when the opposing frontliner is like a solo frontline like Atlas, or like a solo frontline like Terra, like, they're not going to be touching Bacchus very much with that. But if they're able to get past him, like, say you're against double frontline, like you're against like a Fenrir Ganesh type of thing, or you're against like a Fenrir, mainly Fenrir, but like just things that can get past you and get to your backline. He doesn't peel very well when he has to peel multiple targets. So the way I see it, at least, is it's really hard for him to protect when he's got double backline, and when he's double frontline, I don't think his damage is impactful enough to affect the frontline battles that go on. That's it for me, at least. That's why he's there. Oh, already explained Bacchus. Now we can go. Athena, I think, is up here now. Sobek, where's that dude at? Where are the Guardians? They're right here, right? Got Fafnir, bit of a glow up. Cardio. Ares. Jormungandr. Jormungandr is a bit of a controversial one. Always been a Yorm lover. Jing Chen. It's very arguable I should move this up, though. Fox is pretty good. I think he probably is better than a lot of these guys. Alright, I'll give you Bacchus S. There you go. Jing Chen. Okay, Hunters. Yi. Iron. Medusa. Erdanos. Turnbog. X-Ball is SS, best ADC in Joust by far. No. On her. Mages, you got Yu Huang. Agni. Yes. Vulcan. Vulcan. Yes. Malin. A master wizard. Disco. A lot of mages are going to be here. Zilla. Baron Zombie. Gaga. Hell. Soul. Aphrodite. There's so many mages. Raw. Ebo. Warriors. Hercules. Horus. Taurus. Gilgamesh. Nike. Nike. Jabba. Colon. And Assassins. Big Zots. Benra. And Peledashi. Peledashi. Is that everyone? I think that's everything. Terra S. Oh, shoot. I forgot to put Terra. I did put Terra in S originally. Then I wanted to put her in S minus. At the same time, what do you think? What do you guys think? Is Terra S minus or S? I think she might be a step above these guys. I guess I can put her here. I mean, if Bacchus is going to be there, she might as well be there. Alright, we'll do have the quick explanation on that. We moved Terra up and Bacchus up into the S tier because I do think they are better than these other Guardians I've placed here, just by a hair. They're definitely under these top three. But, yeah, I find Bacchus and Terra to be of similar strength. They really shine with the double backline comps versus other double backline comps. E-Shell is surely in this group. It is tempting, but it's hard. It's hard. She's just so killable, man. It's hard. Alright, let's go over this real quick. Guardians. So these Guardians are just like a small smidge of a step below these other guys for different reasons. Usually it's the damage department is a little lackluster. They are very good at doing specific things though, like Athena. If you're running a double backline comp, you probably don't want to run Athena in a double frontline comp. You can, but her damage isn't that high. So you definitely want to run her with double backline because, you know, you get like a Scylla combo on top, Hou-Yi Mark, free ricochet, and get a lot of damage off an Athena taunt. Her recent buffs didn't make a massive difference, or didn't make a massive difference, but they are something to make her a little bit stronger. Sobek used to be probably top 5 Guardian in Joust relatively easily, but I'd say he's fallen a little bit. People are very good at punishing you now. Though he did get a recent buff that did increase his strength, got like a 2-second reduction on all non-ultimate cooldowns. But I think he does have a non-conquest nerf now, so he kind of had that reversed for a non-conk. So he's about the same as he was, honestly. It's just I think he's outclassed by these guys above him. Has really good control, though you can kill him off his pluck, so you got to be very careful. It's almost a death sentence in the late game if you use that pluck and they turn on you with the proper tools. Fafnir, pretty strong god. Arguable that he should be higher than he is here. Specifically shines in the double backline comp because the opposing frontliner, if there's just one, probably can't punish him very hard. Unless it's Ganesh. So he kind of gets to roam free and lock down one target for you really well, make anyone pretty killable. Artio he just has a lot of control, really good counter pick. Just a strong Guardian, has a lot of tools. The recent buff to her passive allows her to shred targets for you pretty well. Ares, big recent buff. Arguably he should be a little higher than he is, but he's a strong counter pick. I don't think he's a great all-purpose pick. I don't think you just lock Ares because you want to lock Ares in your first pick. I don't think you're doing that. So he's just a step below these other guys that you could just like top pick an Atlas or a Kabrakan or, you know, any of these 5 gods and it's fine. Jormungandr just has a lot of damage output, a lot of lane presence, adds to the pressure, but you probably are wanting to play him in a double frontline composition exclusively because he doesn't offer the greatest hard CC in terms of, you know, like setup that you're looking for from like a Bacchus or a Ganesh, a Bracken, like the other Guardians that are up here. Jing Chen, solid god, just a good god. He's very safe. Does some damage, limits the ADC really well with his Furious Roar. But he's never going to kill anyone alone. He's not Kuzenbo. He has fairly long cooldowns, so he's not going to be CC'ing super often like Kabrakan. He's just a safe god. Safe good god. Good guardian. Hunters. We got Ho Yi. Really good fight pressure. Really bad clear. So if you lose that early game hard, you're not winning that game probably. Pyron, really far range, but he just doesn't measure up to these top guys. His damage output isn't as consistent. Great team fight though, and really good with the cleanses to stop your frontliners, especially from being bullied. Like if they get like Atlas pulled or Fenrir ulted or Ganesh dashes them on his ult. Really good at saving teammates with that cleanse. Medusa, a lot of burst. Really good in these double backline battles. But into multiple tanks has a bit more trouble. Pernos has a bunch of damage output. Not as much as the guys above him. But don't underestimate this dude. He hits pretty darn hard. Got that prot tread. Lacking that CC immunity that's ever so crucial to have these days. So just a step below the other hunters that are above him. Turnabog with a recent buff. Arguable that he'll end up moving up in the tiers once I see more play from him. Because he is quite strong. Pretty strong god. He's top god in Conquest for a good reason, ADC-wise at least. Just has decent damage, super safe, comes online quick. The buff to his 2 gives him almost infinite uptime on it. So he's just pumping out damage all the time safely. And he has a global ult. Not much wrong there. And he has decent clear. His clear is okay. On her would be higher up if he didn't have such low range. Especially if it's like a double backline versus double backline. On her just gets beat down by like Hachi autos or go farther than him. He can never really poke a Marty. Bathoth will always outrange him. You know, like, it's just so hard for him to hit targets unless they're right there in front of him. You know? Like, especially when there are multiple things going on. Like, both backlines are trying to poke. Like, you got a Disco on the other team in addition to a Hachiman. Like, they're going to be hitting you and you're not going to be hitting them. It's pretty brutal. But if you've got, like, double front lines running at each other, it's a lot easier for him to hit targets, right? And he's really good at peeling things that are close to him. Mages, we got Yu Huang. Really, he's a solid pick. Just doesn't do damage quite as often as these other mages above him, but he's very safe. And he will offer solid artillery, and it's very hard to kill a Yu Huang, very hard to focus him down. Agni does a similar thing with his good safety. Not as safe as Yu Huang, but has a lot of artillery damage with those bombs. Once you get level 5, you just have to get level 5. That's the big one. Very weak up until that point, but you know, you will be getting level 5. You're not losing the game before level 5, so you just have to stall out for a little bit with Agni. And another thing he has that's really nice is he can set up your frontliners, like if you have like a Hercules, for example, with a Flame Wave into Noxious Fumes combo, will stun them for just a brief moment, which is enough for Hercules to pull someone deep into your team. Vulcan. Super high damage output, really great pressure. You can focus this guy fairly easily, but he's always a little tougher to kill than you think. He does get outranged by the Thoth, Morgan the Fey, the Baba, so he's a little lower on the list. Even the, you know, the Persephone ult catching him is super annoying. Merlin, if he had access to his cooldowns as often as Raijin, he would easily be top of the mages. But his cooldowns are long, so you gotta reserve the Merlin for later in your draft when you're like really certain that you want that range. His safety is decent, no CC immunity, hurts him of course. Kind of gets beat down on by the Fenrir, but he's got good artillery damage on somewhat low cooldown, so he's good. Disco has decent range, lots of cooldowns with her 3. She's super annoying when paired with something like an X-Ball. X-Ball turns out the lights, the Disco throws an apple, and you have no idea where it's going, and it's painful. Let me tell you, her passive as well, adding on to that, giving power to, let's say you have that same X-Ball, or you got that Hachiman that you're giving that passive to, and they're just hitting so much harder. That passive, especially with the power nerfs, that got done to all these characters and items. Makes her passive extremely valuable. Scylla, super safe, good damage, not incredibly often, but 10-second cooldown. Lands her up among these strong mage picks, but not too strong. Baron, really good punish. God, really good utility. His abilities are very, very good. He can keep people in place for a long time. Like a ramping root that essentially is like making you stand almost in place for like 3 seconds total. A heal that gives you slow immunity to your entire team. You know, even the attack speed reduction on his one. And then the ult for punish. Really annoying for a tank to play against, especially one that's expended their escape. Makes it almost that Fenrir-esque pressure by just existing, because his ult could hit you if you make too aggressive of a play. Very annoying for someone like Ares. Like, Baron's just a complete counterpick for Ares. Giving that slow immunity, ulting his ult. It's just really bad for an Ares. Chang'e, really good against sniping these double backline comps. Her clear is not amazing. She has to get pretty close range. But those Blink Chang'e ults, incredibly lethal against double backlines. Hell, very, very niche pick that does a lot of damage and offers a lot of pressure, but you need to have that pressure to make her work. She's very good at generating it herself, but you've got to make sure that she's not getting gone on when she's doing that. Soul kind of similar. Like, you can build super pressure comps with Soul and Hell. And really utilize their damage to run it down in a game and end the game before the other team really gets to play. Can end in like 15 to 20 minutes easily with those gods with the right compositions. Afro, unfortunately, strong god, played by very few, but is good. You got to build the Afro comp, give her a nice link. And you're just trying to win team fights, basically, when you pick this god. Really nice in game modes where there are less people, right? Ra, really good follow-up mage. Really, really good. If you manage to get Naja, Ra is definitely a god you're looking at. He's got great utility with the heal. He's got long-range damage. So if you can set him up, you can make a Ra work out really well. That healing on top will be... the heal is really good. It gives protections, power, and then a little bit of sustain. That really helps out. Ebo, with Bountiful Bow, is actually very annoying right now. Arguably, he should be a little lower than this, but I think he has a lot of potential to do a lot of things with that bow. Throw hits really hard, really often. He has a very low cooldown on his water cannon, 3 seconds. And you build a little bit of cooldown. That cooldown is going to go down to, like, 2 seconds, maybe a slightly lower, 1.8 type of deal. Deso and Sands of Time deal going on. 1.8 second cooldown turns into a 0.3 second cooldown after the Bountiful Bow proc. You blink on someone, you 1 them, and then you 3 them, and then 1 them again. And if they're still alive, then you can ult them. As for the warriors, we got Hercules, Horus, Ganesh, Nike, Sheva, Kakolan. Hercules has a lot of pressure. Can build a pressure comp with him. He works really well with like something like Kabrakan. You just have really strong level 3. Really take the fight to them. You can kind of dominate a lot of these comps. That's the reason why I don't think like X-Ball, for example, is like an SS tier character. Like, you do not need to first ban him. Because if they lock in X-Ball and you lock in Kabrak and Hercules, this dude doesn't clear the wave already. It's going to be tough. Horus, more of a support than a warrior. Very solid single target CC. Really annoying when you're trying to dive into a back line and a Horus is just stopping you exclusively. And he's just got a lot of utility. He's very safe. Gilgamesh down here has fallen off a bit. He does good damage. His level 3 is really strong. His team fight's really good. His wave clear is awful. But if you pair him with another frontliner that's able to run it down alongside him, like that Cabrakan, for example, we're talking about, like an Aerie, something like that. They can do a lot of things together. Nike is a very strong hunter answer right now. Makes it really annoying for Expel to play, Hachiman to play. Though she is very punishable. You give the right stuff, you pick like Ganesh, just silence her 2 every time. But that 2 being able to just hold that in front of him for 6 seconds, like X-Ball ult, and you just hold it there. Not taking much damage there. You have a really good lane god. Really good. But like Warriors, they just don't do enough damage right now. You need to pair them with something else to kind of be like Sheva +1 in the back line, dive in, can have a lot of effectiveness, get that snowball rolling, and really just end the game with your base damage. All in kind of the same way. Has decent pressure in lane. That transformation. Assassins. I think Camazotz is pretty darn strong right now. Got a lot of good damage on there. Very safe. Can kill a lot of these backliners. I've been building Gauntlet of Thebes into Bluestone, or with Bluestone, and then going full damage right after. You get that blink, you get that beads, and you're soloing carries. It's looking really good. Causes a lot of trouble for them. Like, they just never beat you in a 1v1. Fenrir kind of does the same thing. You just focus out one guy, or they pick a lot of gods that just have dashes. So they pick, like, you know, like Bacchus. They pick X-Ball. They pick Thoth. Like, Fenrir just has a lot of good matchups in the higher tiers here. A lot of dashes, a lot of non-CC immunity going on. And you pair it with, like, a Ganesh. It's an age-old combo, Fenrir-Ganesh. They first picked Bacchus. Like, he can't absolution himself if you're going on him the whole time. And he only has so many beats, so... And he is killable if you could get that Ganesh ult on him and have, like, a Hunter Blast in him. So Fenrir is a strong pick, but... It's very, very one-dimensional, that engage. Doing that ult combo. So he's not as strong as he once was, maybe. He does have that kill potential, though. A lot of these assassins are really strong because they have kill potential on carries that warriors do not. Alone. Like a Camazotz can kill someone alone. A Pele has a lot of damage, big buff. She got 4 hits on her ult. He has enough damage to kill someone alone. You can build full damage on her. Daji, kind of similar to the Fenrir, can do a lot against these high-ranking picks with no CC immunity, especially like the Thoth, Bacchus. The Absolution does kind of hurt her a lot. Bacchus casting that on her ult can be quite annoying. But if you build your comp correctly, and Dashi does have that 10% damage reduction buff that she got recently in the last patch. Do a lot with this character. Not touched too much, though. I do think she's good. I got Alma between the mages. Do I? Where is she? Down here. We'll get there when we get there. Amaterasu. Alright, moving on to the A tier. We've covered... These are all the gods that you really need to worry about picking. The rest of the ones we're going to go to are in the A-OK tier or the B for bad. So you're only ever going to really pick these gods if you think it's like a really big comfort pick for you, or if it's like a massive counter pick for one reason or another. So we're going to start off with the Guardians. Once again, we got Kumakarna, we got Yamoja, we got Cerberus, Kulu, Big Geb, Kepri. Gonna be a lot of gods in here. Hunters, we got Amazenkob, Cupid, Charybdis. I'm gonna do quite a bit less explanation for these guys because, like I said, they're not super high priority in your drafts. So it's just kind of just giving you a general idea of where I have them land. Like, the really important ones are these top 3 tiers. And it's very arguable that you could move around some of these up or down a tier. I think the main one that we're concerned about is these top 3, the ones that you need to pick or ban. The other ones are kind of just like what your team is trying to play, or what you particularly like playing or dislike playing against. That will determine what you pick and ban and prioritize, and it will influence how you see the game. 80s, 80s, 80s. I think it's 80s. Awesome. Am I blind? Oh, there he is. 80s Anubis. So all these gods that I'm putting in the A tier are just like, they're okay. They're not awful. They're not great. They can be really nice counter picks at points. So if you're comfortable with them, you know how to utilize their kits to the maximum potential, you can find some value with some of these guys and do really well. Unlike the bottom tier that I keep calling B for bad, where you probably just shouldn't pick them at all. Probably something better you could grab. Fast it. Where's the Wheelix? Big counter pick god. A Wheelix into Hoi, man. The age-old annoyance. Sometimes works out, sometimes doesn't. Where we got the other guys. Arachne is a notable one. She's actually not bad. Arachne's actually pretty good right now. Kind of funny. I always used to joke on her as being the worst god in the game, because, to be honest, she was. But, not too bad now. You can definitely actually pick Arachne, and it won't be that bad. Don't think you should go spamming her, but not terrible. B for bad. The rest of these guys are all going in here. Don't pick these gods. They either get punished too hard, or they have really bad clear. For one reason or another, they're just not great. You know, maybe I'll put Artemis in playable. Especially after seeing what she can do nowadays. She's playable.
I'm coming for you, laddie!
Yeah, thanks for the follow. Big Zeusy. Dude, Zeus is actually so bad. The non-conk nerfs are awful. It's terrible. It really is terrible. Why am I even bothering putting these in order, man? I mean, you know they're all going in here, so. You guys have any questions or comments, concerns? Now's the time to bring them up before we make our final call on this. Maybe I should put Baka in playable. It's kind of playable. Sort of. Wait, Juan, you kind of escaped. Where did I put him? He's surely an A god. Dude, poor Vamana. Vamana's probably playable. I'm actually devious for putting Vamana that low, huh? Nope, I'm leaving him here. What the? How did Set escape? He's up here with these guys. Put him after Fenrir. Wait, did I really put... No, Wukong is playable. I missed some of these guys. Cyrus is also playable. Odin is playable. Odin is a straight counter pick, though. It's arguable I should put Odin up here. He's actually a pretty good counter pick. And Oleron's playable. You think E-Shell should be S-, though? Going back to that comment. I just don't see it, man. He does so much damage. She runs at a mana in half a second. She's really easy to get on and kill. Surtur that bad? Yeah, Surtur is B for bad. Don't play Surtur. He's just in a really bad spot right now. I imagine he'll get buffed soon. Surtur is contender for worst god in the game, honestly. He's just awful, man. The only thing he's got going for him is his long-range stun, which is pretty good. But it gets caught on walls, and that's all he has. You're always ulting out. Feels terrible. Oh, I can't really see this whole list here. Right there. Now you can see it all. See everything. Look at that. Okay, that's the finished list. Have that timestamped in the video somewhere. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment down below if you think something is very ill placed. Certainly some of these gods are capable of moving up or down, maybe just a little bit. Baka and Nem, seriously that low? Yeah. Yeah, they are. They are bad. They are B for bad. You should not be picking Baka and Nem. Unless you're trolling. Then you're doing great. If you pick them and you're trying to troll, then you're doing great. Fantastic, even. But thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, all that good stuff. Yeah, let me know what you think about this. I'll see you next time. Peace!